Growers and consumers love the nonpareil almond. It's well adapted to the valley environment and produces strong yield, but growing them can be complicated. Farmers have to dedicate half their orchards to the tree that doesn't produce the nut. But now, self-pollinating almond trees could be a game changer. On this Wired Wednesday, GVY reporter Edward Smith joins us now to break it all down. Edward, how you doing this morning?
Morning, Carl. Doing all right.
So one of the questions is, what could be the impact of these new trees now that it's becoming a new thing?
Yeah, so that nonpareil almond, that's the most popular almond that there is. It makes up, 40% of California's almond supply. It's the one everybody knows, one everybody loves, especially growers. Problem is, like what you were saying, is it's hard to grow because you can only put half of your orchard in there. So what these laboratories are saying, these nurseries and laboratories are saying, is that having this self-pollinating nut, you can dedicate more of your orchard to that, and you could have fewer bees, which is less cost and more productivity.
So with that being said, as far as timing, when are these trees planned to come out?
So they're still very early in the process. But with that being said, one laboratory, Ohalo Genetics, they're coming out, they're taking pre-orders next year with some early deliveries as early as 2027. But they're still going to be working on that. So the farmers who are going to be getting those are going to be kind of part of that process. They're going to see how that works out, and then there's still a lot of unknowns that they're working out.
And speaking of growers, the farmers and all of them, how are they feeling about these new trees? I'm sure for them it's going to be a change, but it sounds like they may enjoy it.
Yeah, so initially, their first reactions with the growers I spoke with, they said, this is going to cut way down on cost. Bees can be very expensive. Bees also have, as we all know, and bees have their own problems. But they also had some concerns about, when you come out with a variety too soon, there's a lot of unknowns. Almond trees last 25 years.
Yeah.
So you've got to kind of go through all that research time. Now, the geneticists say, this is a clone, so we know how it's going to perform, we know how the nut's going to look, we know how it's going to act. But, so growers are hesitant, but they like the idea.
You did mention bees, and I kind of wanted to transition to my next question. How do the bees kind of play a factor to this, and what's been going on with them this year?
Yeah, so there's, back in 06 and 07, we had that bee colony collapse disorder, and it looks like there's something similar going on this year as well. Back in that time, bee colonies had 30 to 80% mortality rates. I spoke to a UC Davis professor, and he said that we're seeing similar things, 40 to 100% mortality rates for some cases.
As far as these trees, one of the things will be changed for it. Would these trees be able to change and adapt to environment changes?
That's one big question that a UC Davis professor I spoke with had, is that, being clones, it's hard for them to adapt to a changing environment, because that's what makes the almond so strong, is that because it requires other pollination, it's adapted well to environments. So looking further on down the road, you're like, well, we're in a changing environment, we're in a changing climate, we don't know what it could be happening, with availability of water. And so almond adapts itself pretty well to these things, but having a bunch of clones, it remains to be seen.
I guess only time will tell what things look like in the next couple of years. Edward Smith, thank you so much for being here. We'll have more after the break. Stay with us here on Great Day.